Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about Google Shopping in our Guerrilla Marketing course. So welcome to the 5th lesson here, and let's just go ahead and dive right in. So this is Google Shopping Guerrilla Marketing style. So welcome to this tutorial. If you have a product you want to market on Google Shopping, this is the place you want to be. Our guinea pig website is kbathandbody.com. Okay, when you first go to the website, you'll see candles and soaps. Now, they already have everything set up as we discussed in previous lessons. So, what is Google Shopping? Well, Google Shopping is a platform for merchants to sell their products in the Google search engine. If we go to kbathandbody.com's website and search for one of their products, you'll see that it appears in the Google search engine. So after clicking on the ad, you can go directly back to the particular product. So here's 210 red glycerin white shea butter soap. You can see it here appearing in the search engine for that keyword phrase, and it's in the shopping here. So that's one of the things that you want to do to increase your sales. So how do you do this? How do you set up Google Shopping? Well, like we discussed in the last lesson, you have to have an AdWords account set up. You also have to have your Google Merchant account set up and connect it to your AdWords account. Make sure that you also verified your website in the Google Search Console. Okay? So the prerequisites are an AdWords account, a Google Merchant account, and verify your website in the Google Search Console. All right, otherwise you're going to get frustrated, and you don't want to get frustrated, so just make sure you have these things set up first. Okay, steps to set up Google Shopping. Well, we're going to go to adwords.google.com and log in. Okay, log into that account. Also go to merchants.google.com and log in. And if you can't log in, that means you haven't set it up, so you set it up while you're in there. The next thing you want to do is go to google.com/webmaster/tools and a third login. The other thing you can do is type in Google Search Console and get to the same place. All right. If you cannot see your website in the third step, you must verify the website before you go on. It has to be verified in the Google Search Console. Our objective is to connect all three of these different accounts together so they can communicate with each other, and that's why we have to do this. Now, for a detailed process on this, you can see Google's shopping cart page right here, support.google.com, merchants answer 176793, or just continue on with this tutorial. Now, connecting the accounts. So we want to go to the merchants.google.com, and you'll see a menu on the left. Look for settings. Then in the tab, look for website verification. Okay, you'll see this little thing on the left when you're logged into the merchant account. Next, you want to click on the button and verify the website. After you click verify, you'll see this little, verified and claim. You have to verify and claim that URL. It's a pretty simple process if you already have it set up in your Google Search Console. Now we have claimed our website. Now we must link it to our AdWords account. So we have our Google Merchant account. We want to link it to our AdWords account. All right. So we want to go to the merchant account and scroll down where it says settings, and there under settings click AdWords. All right. So now you want to link your AdWords account to your Google Merchant account. Your button may say link AdWords account, and so you would do that right here. And then after you click that, it's usually an instantaneous thing. They're linked together. If you're having trouble, it's probably because you haven't verified it in your website in the Google Search Console. So that's a very important step there. Okay, so next thing, you want to set up the tax and shipping information and tell Google what you're going to do about the taxes and the shipping charges. Okay, so when you are in the Merchant Center, scroll down to where it says settings and then tax. All right. Then you're going to come to a screen, that looks like this, where you can set up your tax rate, or maybe you don't want to charge taxes. And then you can have Google determine the rate that, that you want to tax. And then if you want to apply it to the shipping, you'll check mark that box, apply to shipping. If not, leave it unchecked. Okay. Now set up the shipping parameters. All right. So what we'll do is in the menu, we'll scroll down to where it says shipping, right? And then you're going to get a screen like this. You're going to have to choose a shipping method. You want to name your shipping method whatever you want. Just fill in the blank. USPS or my shipping method, FedEx, DFP, USPS, whatever. And then you could select the single rate, or maybe you want to use a rate table or a carrier calculated table. This is virtual. That single rate is like a flat rate. And then you want to put it in the business days. How many days does it take for delivery? And then what you want to do is, if you're using the single rate setting, specify the rate here in US dollars and then click Save. All right, so uploading your products for Google Shopping. It's important to note that you must read Google's accepted policies before you upload your products, okay? Many people have had their accounts shut down, terminated because of Google policies. And just because something is legal, it does not mean that Google will allow you to advertise it in their search engine, okay? So you want to prepare your database for the upload. How are you going to do that? Well, I've prepared a spreadsheet for you, and you can open this up in Excel and edit it yourself and then save it. The spreadsheet that you will upload in your Google Merchant account is located on this post. Now, I have a direct link to this post under the video. You have to be a member in order to be able to access the post. Okay, so let's talk about this, because this is important for your success, all right? So there are 12 columns in the spreadsheet that you must fill out: ID, title, description, link, price, brand, condition, image, link, MPN number, Google product category, product type, and availability. Whoa, Max, what is all that? Well, guess what? We're going to talk about these one at a time and what their importance is to you. Okay, so this is kind of like a simulation of a database where we have those different columns that we need to fill out. Now, for the ID column, this is just the ID of your product. Now, you can put whatever you want in there, but remember the first marketing lesson where you could take advantage of other popular ID numbers? Okay, so just saying that for those people that have been through this entire course. Okay, now this would just be the title of your product. You want to use a good search engine optimized title, or just use the title of your product. Okay, the next one is the description. Stick to the facts for the best results. If you're advertising silverware, maybe you might want to say what it's made out of, what its size is, what color is it, stuff like that. And you can add a couple things in the description as well to promote the item a little bit. Okay. So the next one is the link. Now, this will be the complete URL to your product. Do not send people to your home page. You'll get disapproved if you do. So here's a little example of the link in K-Bath & Body. It gives the products two-tone. This is a direct link to that page. And that's what you want to put in these columns here. Okay? Now, price. Of course, this is self-explanatory. But the only thing is, don't put the $sign in there. Okay? Let Google handle the $sign. You just put in the price just like that. All right? Now, the next one is the brand. This brand is made up by you. It's best to enter a brand, of a popular item. So if you're selling a popular item, make sure you put its brand in this column. If there's no brand, if you're making something homemade or whatever and it's brand new, you just want to put your own brand in there. Okay, now here's the condition. We have two options, new or used. All right, so that's what you want to fill out under those. Now, the next one is the image link. You want to make sure that you put an image URL into this field. Do not link people to the product page or you'll get disapproved. The URL should look something like should end in like .jpeg, .png, .gif, or something of that nature. And here's an example of K-Bath & Body. Christmas soap, round guest soap, and then at the end, it's a .png. Okay, so this next one is an MPN. Well, MPN is an acronym for Manufacturer Product Number. You can use both numbers and letters, and if the product already has an MPN, use it, because it's, there's more of a chance that you'll get sales that way. This next one here is the Google product category. Now, pay attention to this. You must select Google's product category and put it in quotes. Now, here's an example. You notice there's a quote in the front and quote in the back. So whenever you put this in, whenever you fill out this column, these rows, you want to make sure that you keep these quotes in here. Okay? So that's the important thing about that. The next one is the product type. Okay? Now, this would be the category on your website. It may be the same as Google's, but it may be different. So here's an example. In quotes, I put travel pillows, caret to the right, pillows, caret to the right, travel pillow. Right? So that's part of that. And then finally, we have availability. You want to use the parameter of in stock or out of stock with each item. And so, of course, each row is an item. So this would be the first item, this would be the second item. And when you download that spreadsheet, it'll be self-explanatory to you. I put some sample data in there so that it would be helpful for you to fill out. Okay, so uploading your file to Google Shopping. Now you're ready to go and upload this feed file after you entered your products in there. Now, in your Google Merchant Center, you want to go to where that little item that says Feeds. Okay. Now, on the red button called New Feed, this is where you want to click. All right. So you will see the parameters for this feed: the mode, feed type, target country, content, language, and the name of the feed. Make sure that you fill it out just like that we have it in this graphic. All right. You want mode standard, feed type for products. Target countries, United States, language, English, and then just give the feed. Type whatever. I just put my feed in there, but you can put whatever you want there, and then click the continue button. All right, so after you click continue, you will see a screen that looks like this. You select regular uploads, and then click the continue button. Okay, don't worry about what this says. We're going to be uploading this file to the Google Shopping screen. It looks like this. You want to name your file. Well, notice here I just named mine. So you will now see a screen that looks like this. Name your file and make sure you click on the shopping box. This will enable your feed for Google Shopping. So you'll notice here I named that file my file, and I click the shopping box. Right now, next you want to click this box, manually upload a new file. Now click, and there will be a button appear down here. You click on it, and that file that you entered all that information in is where you want to upload this. Okay, so now you'll see save. Make a mistake, you click change file, and then re-upload the appropriate file. And you'll be able to see your. Now you'll see a success message whenever you upload it, just like this. Okay, and then it'll populate this little thing right here. Google will examine your feed and make sure it's correct. All right, now Google will examine your feed to make sure it's correct. Okay, if it is not, it will give you warnings. To take a look at your products, click on the menu, Products menu. Okay, so right down here, you want to click on right there, the products. After you click that, you'll be able to see the click on that little button. You'll be able to see your product list. Now, if you're doing this for the first time, it may take Google several days for them to approve your products. So this is the important thing. Excuse me. So anyway, manually go to your website. Keep that in mind. You want to see policy, upload this, check back every day. But now remember, if they're not visible on your website, so important. They don't see Google will manually go to your website, and they will look for a privacy policy and a return policy link. Now that you have your feed uploaded, are not visible on your website, or they don't see it, on that first page, they will reject your feed. Okay, so you want to go to and you'll have to make that page created all over. So make sure you have a TOS, privacy policy, return policy, so then that way you won't have to deal with the next thing you're going to see when you'll have to wait for them to come back again after you want to submit another request for them to come and integrate and approve. Shopping feed. All right, so now back to AdWords. Now that you have your feed uploaded, you must go back to your AdWords and create a campaign for it. So you want to go to adwords.google.com and click the Campaigns tab. All right. So now select the red campaign tab and select Shopping. Settings from an existing campaign, or let me back up here for a second. You're going to go to a place that looks like this. You want to click this little Campaigns tab. All right. It's going to look like this right here. When you hover over it, you want to select Shopping. All right. That's now important thing. So you want to set. You're going to get to a page that looks like this. Set your budget. So what you want to do is give your campaign a name. The type is shopping. The important thing to note here is that this merchant identifier, because this is what connects to your merchant account. This is what brings in the products into this particular campaign. Keep it low. Now, set your location, set your budget, fill all this information out. If you want to look at the advanced settings, feel free to do so. I'm just helping you get started. But this default bid, start with 50 cents, budget $5 a day. Then you want to click Save. Start something low. until you could get a grasp on it, because AdWords is something you got to go back in, you got to manage, you got to implement strategy, and so on and so forth. So make sure you start out well.
Ad group right.
So you're not going to break the bank on the first time. Now,
I click save.
A lot of people are putting $1,000 a day. I've had clients put $1,000 a day, and then they totally lose it. Well, that's because it takes work to make this work. So it takes a lot of research and stuff like that. You can do it, but then, like I said,
now your product
got to do it effectively. What you want to do is click save and continue.
So in the next lesson,
simple as that.
We're going to use CMS.
Now you will name this new ad group. Click save and continue.
Now
Congratulations, you're done. All right. So here is an ad group
shopping feed installed. All right.
We're going to just
now
name
might have
my
to set
new
up some
ad
parameters.
group.
So that's
I'm not going to put any promotion in
there.
there.
If you have
I'm just going to click save and
If you
continue.
have any more than 20 or 50
now,
products.
in the next lesson, we're going to use the content management system to generate a Google shopping feed.
That's why.
All right, so that's a lot of people. They're like, "Hey, Max, I don't want to fill out 10 million. I got 10 million items on my site. I don't want to fill them all out." So in the next lesson, there's a lot of content management systems out there, like
Hope you enjoyed this lesson,
and so on and so forth, that